Who will bring any charge against God's elect? I can't say it often enough. I don't think I can really do justice to the concept. Everything changes. Everything that Paul knows about the world and reality and the way it all works, it all changes when bathed in the love of God. So much so that Paul stands, he's sort of thumping his chest, says, well, who's going to bring any charge against us who are the people of God? It reminds me of the woman caught in the act of adultery, doesn't it? When they drag her in front of Jesus, and there you have on giant display a little bit of a disagreement as to who's God and who's not. The Pharisees and the teachers of the law are going to embody one particular understanding of God, the one that Paul would have been familiar with when he was Saul. And on the other side of this giant struggle, you had Jesus. You remember how that story ends, right? Jesus says, okay, you want to execute her, you want to stone her, you want to kill her, you can if you're without sin too. Because if you're not, you're next. We're throwing rocks right at you next. And they walk away one at a time. The oldest one's first. I love that. Until it's just Jesus and the woman. And he says to her, I don't condemn you either. Leave your life of sin. I don't condemn you either. Who will bring a charge? God is our judge. Who is it to condemn? Who will condemn us? God, the author of life, who holds the keys to life and death, who's going to rip those keys out of his hands and then condemn us and sentence us in any way? And who or what will separate us from the love of Christ? And he goes through this giant laundry list of things that I think he himself had faced. Things like famine and sword, shipwreck, a snake bite. What will separate us from the love of God in Christ? In fact, what you need to hear him say here is this: to be apprehended by, to be debilitated by the love of God does not mean that you will not suffer. It means that you will not suffer alone. I think at times you can hear someone say, man, if you get this thing worked out, if you'll sign the blank check that God hands you, maybe there'll be less suffering. Listen to me, maybe not. I promise you that I won't ever promise you won't suffer. I can promise you that you will never, because of this love that surrounds you in all of life like a giant flood, I can promise you you'll never suffer alone.